A new study put out by the Electronic Frontier Foundation has found that schools have been using donated electrical equipment like devices to spy on school children as young as 5 years old without their parents' permission. Essentially what happens is a school gives devices to kids. These devices are donated by electronics companies to get in on the education market. And they did a study and they've dubbed it spying on students. And now the researchers investigated 152 tech ed services and reported as use in classrooms have found that troubling trends in their privacy policies regarding lack of encryption, opaque data retention practices, and inadequate data aggregation and de-identification. In other words, they're saying about 1/3 of school children across the U.S. They collect an excessive amount of data and highly sensitive personal information from the students without parental consent or even prior notice. And what's really troubling about this is that often they can't opt out of this. So even some of the teachers are given these electronic devices and they're not even allowed to say no. They must use these devices, which have had this spying technology installed by a private company. And it makes you wonder, why is it that the educational institutions are protecting the companies that have installed things without people's knowledge to spy on them? And then even then when this is known, they're saying that they don't want to use them, and the school's telling them they have to use them because that's their contractual obligation. It makes you wonder why the school is doing all this. This is part of that very happy marriage of capitalism and fascism. As Lenin always told us, fascism is capitalism in decay, and yet here we see, the capitalists working hand in hand with the state to violate people's privacy and enforcing it, forcing people to actually take it. But it's just strange why they would want to spy on children that young. I assume maybe the aggregate data collected could be used for advertising purposes, and in a lot of cases, the invasion of people's privacy is to collect that kind of data that can be sold to advertisers. And I really hope it's something as relatively benign as that and not something much more malicious. But this does show you that despite claims by many of those who support the free market, very clearly what we have right here is a fascism, so to speak, being carried out by profit motive enterprises, by capitalist businesses. But their claims that, well, there's a state, and well, that wouldn't happen if there was a state, because apparently software that spies on people can't get installed on something if there's no state. All this really does is show us that the problem is capitalism itself, not the actual state. The bourgeois state follows out bourgeois interests. A proletarian state carries out proletarian interests. It's not too terribly difficult to understand. But I mean, if you've got kids and they're in school right now and they've got one of these devices, you might want to consider that device having some kind of an accident, maybe. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.